Thursday morning, January 23rd, 2020. And the reason I'm making this video is to put on YouTube. And some of the people I'd like to see it are the management of the golf course, the governor, the attorney general, the mayor, Dave Biscobane from ABC, Let Joe Know from ABC, Gary Harper from 3 on Your Side. I'm going to show you the reason I'm making this video, and this is probably, I got about 100 videos of these, and I sit and watch them, and I try to figure out a good presentation. But I'm going to start with a presentation of where I live and where that tee box is and what I put up with on a day-to-day basis since I've been living here. I bought this lot and 2 other lots next to it. I had the houses built on it, and for the last 16 years I've been servicing this golf concession here at Sundance by being a landing and recovery area for harmful missiles that are white and round and go 80 miles an hour that are misstruck. Anybody that knows anything about golf, all you have to do is go to any driving range and sit behind the range if they've got a restaurant or a patio on the course, and you can sit out and watch all this line of 25 golfers out there on the practice range. You're going to see that every one of them golfers at one time during that practice session has got balls going off to the right, balls going off to the left. There's no constant consistency. Once in a while you'll spot, and the pros you will spot on the range immediately. You'll spot the pros immediately. Okay, I'm going to start zooming in because I got to tell you where I am here. You got to understand what I'm looking at. I'm about, I would say, 40 yards from that golfer right now. And just offline. And you're going, you're crazy. You're crazy. You're not in his way. No, I'm not. If he's a pro, if you go to the golf range and you see one guy or 2 guys on the range out of 20 on that string of golfers who are hitting balls, and you see the guy pick a target and you see him drop one in from 90 yards, 5 feet from the target, 5 or 6 times in a row, no miss. He picks another target, 135 yards, same thing. Takes another club, picks another, then he finally works his way up the bag and he's got a driver in his hand and he's crushing it out there about 250, and they're all online. Now in a perfect world, that would work here for me, because I wouldn't have to worry about where my location is. Now, I want to get in on the boundaries here. I have to set up the map. What you're looking at. Now, you see that cactus? I've set it in other films, but the golf course sets up the boundaries for the course. They set up out of bounds for the course. That cactus, it is an indicator of my property line. And I'm slowly going to pan down the property line to what, and I'll back up a little bit to what we have here. Okay? Just behind that hill right there, the crest where that tree is the cart path. Now that cart path runs parallel to my property line. There's a white stake at the end of these bushes. That's the other out of bounds stake for the golf course. We understand that. So that's the limits of the golfers' travel. Alright? And that's the limit of their play. Even though right there, why do you... Had a little mistake, forgot what I was doing with the tripod, but why do you have to have that tee box there? Because now I'm going to flip it as to, I took 2 semesters of statistical analysis in college. I had quite a bit of math and statistics. And if you talk about the bell-shaped curve, you've got me right in the center of the bell-shaped curve to get struck by golf balls today. That line of plants I just showed you is the boundary of the golf course in my yard. Now anybody that's had any experience in human factors, if you've been with a top shelf corporation that has a lot of legal issues and they've made a lot of legal mistakes in the last years that's cost them dearly in court settlements, then you'll understand what human factors is. Human factors as it applies to this golf course and this tee box right here is all the guys in the morning that go by and see me out here with a camera or see the camera out here, all these old guys that have got a control swing and they don't hardly ever miss, kind of missed the point. If they were living here, they would get the point if they lived here day to day that once your group goes through and the ladies groups goes through and you start the afternoon rates, that's when the hordes come in to play golf. These are people, there's no vetting. If you understand, there's no way to check to say, do you have a permit to play this round? Have you played rounds in other places like this? And have you shot a relatively good score? Because this is a tight golf course. And there's nobody on the first tee. You want to give somebody a job to protect the rest of us? Somebody that's had their windows broke? Somebody that's been here as long as me? I've probably got $3,000 invested in windows and solar panels that have been broke, which is an extra golf tax on me. And it's and I've already got, and I got in legal trouble because I challenge golfers. When I see my ball is laying in my yard and I see the guy and he's walking up from the cart path and he sees his ball in my yard and he don't stop. He's walking and he doesn't see me, and I'm at the kitchen window. So it's just as he's about to walk across my line, I come out and I go, "Where are you going?" "Oh, I was just checking my ball. I wanted to make sure it was mine." Bullshit. If I had a video on this lot, the all-seeing eye, if the all-seeing eye over the last 10, 15 years could record and reproduce the number of times that I get hit by a golf ball, the number of times that a golf ball comes into my yard, a number of times that I've had discussions, because the human factor here is, and the way this golf course, the tribal knowledge or the protocol or the accepted way to play this course, every golfer who has played this, who started playing this course and when it was brand new and there was no houses here, if they started at 15 years old playing golf here, they were brand new. Maybe they never played golf before. This is their home course. They've played so many times here. When they started playing here at 15, there was no restriction. There was no houses. This was just a golf course and a bunch of empty lots that were undeveloped and unsold. So they got used to having the liberty, and because the golf course is so narrow and so long, I'm going to try to give you an example between like an East Coast golfer from like the Carolinas, the Smoky Mountains, the Adirondacks, upper Michigan, upper Wisconsin maybe, where there's a lot of woods, thick woods. You don't understand the luxury you have to come out and grip and rip all day. And these young 15-year-olds, that's when Tiger was winning. That's when it went from target golf to where we don't worry about target golf. This is all distance golf. We got a juiced ball, we got juiced clubs, we got juiced shafts, we got perimeter weighting. We can take a moron out here, and if he makes just the right swing 1 out of 90 times today, he's gonna make a shot that'll hook him for life in this game. Maybe he'll hit a 300-yard drive right down the middle. And once he gets that feeling of what it's like, he's hooked. And that ain't golf. Golf is scoring. Golf is scoring. I don't see any of these people trying to protect their score, a legal score. If a guy says, I'm going to go out today and shoot par golf, he's a 15 handicap. Well, how are you going to do it? Well, I'm not having very good luck from the men's tee. Even though I'm a man, I'm kind of short on experience. I want to shoot par today. That's my goal, shoot par. I want to stay within par. Good, how are you going to do it? Well, I'm going to try, I'll move up to the ladies' tee. It's a short man's game. It ain't a long man's game. If I can't shoot par from the ladies' tee, and I don't belong back in the men's tee. Well, what's going to happen if you don't shoot it from the ladies' tee? Well, I still want to shoot par honestly and legally. And I'm finding out that it's all short game. It's all chipping and putting. I can have the best long shot in the world on a par 4. I got 70 yards to the green, or maybe I'm sitting up on the apron of the green. I don't know how. I have no clue how to get that ball from the apron into the hole. It cost me 4 shots. So until I learn how to shoot par from somewhere on this course, my goal is to protect my score and shoot par. I'm talking like a dinosaur when I say that. If you were to try to teach somebody the game from that point of view perspective, until you can shoot par, bring me in a couple of par scores from the executive tees, you got no business moving back. That doesn't happen here. There's no management, there's no policeman, there's no control. We're in a situation here where I'm 30 yards away. If we were on a driving range and there was 20, a line of 20 of those, they'd probably have those partitions between each hitter. Those metal netting partitions. Why do they have those partitions? In case somebody toes one. In case somebody toes one, it doesn't hit the guy next to him. If we, this afternoon, a group of young people who were given the privilege to walk on this course and play golf that never played before, what I'm trying to get with this par thing, getting back to that, I kind of drifted off, but when I started playing golf in the woods up in the Adirondacks, we were using Bellata balls. So if you had a ball in your bag that didn't have a smile on it, Bellata balls weren't too forgiving. If you mishit one, you put a smile on it. So usually by the 9th hole, you could tell the rookies who were playing golf with you because they were out gripping and ripping in the woods. You're looking at tunnels of trees. An example, if you ever saw the PGA Championship that came from Sahala, up around Seattle, it's northeast of Seattle, out by Issaquah, but it's all tall trees. Every shot, you got to be working the ball right and left. And there's no gripping and ripping. This is a target golf. You're standing on a tee box where you got a tunnel of trees 25 yards wide. Go ahead, grip and rip. Go ahead. go ahead, try to get your 250-yard drive out of this hole. But let me tell you what, if it goes offline and it goes in the woods, you've got snakes, ticks, burdocks, poison ivy, poison oak, poison sumac, and usually the rookies. Now, if we take a guy from the desert out here, you don't have to worry about that. These desert golfers, when they come out and play here, they can play grip and whip. And when they walk out of that golf shop after paying their greens fee, every golfer, if you did an exit poll of every golfer before they got in the car or at the first tee and says, I'm going to give you a hypothetical. If you grip one on the number 5 hole and it goes out of bounds, what are you guys going to do? Tee up another one. We'll just tee up another one. Hold that. Whoa, whoa. Fellas, you're on one of the tightest golf courses in the valley. You have to use the target golf game today. If you try to grip and rip with a left to right wind on the number 5 hole from the men's tees, and you don't have a men's game, you couldn't shoot par from the executive tees. You wouldn't be able to shoot pars from the executive tees. Alright? And you're up there on the men's tees on number 5, an amateur, a gorilla, with an open face. Nobody's correcting your grip all day because there's nobody in the group that knows anything about a golf swing. They're just watching you hit big left to right slices and curves and blocks all day, and nobody's figured it out because nobody in the group knows anything about the golf swing. Alright, when you're taking the club way outside like a baseball hitter or something, and you're coming in with it with a wide open swing and you got your hip bleeding all the way, what's going to happen? And it takes a while to hit that sweet spot. Every club, you got to hit the sweet spot. What beginners struggle with clubs is they're thinking about so many things. Keep your left arm straight, take it back straight, keep your head down, da 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 da. That once all that distills, just before impact, they have a brain fart and they yank one, or they over jump one, or they squeeze the I know I've made every mistake. I was an amateur golfer that taught myself how to play golf. I know every mistake that can be made. All right? And that's why I'm so concerned about why I have to be dealing with this interdiction and harassment fire. Interdiction, harassment fire in military terms is you've got an enemy over there that doesn't have enough rounds to take you on. They're not strong enough to take you on. They're allowed to put 2 rounds, artillery rounds a day into you. They'd like to put 300, but they don't have the supplies to do it. So they go, all right, put 2 rounds in over there, and just to harass them. Harass and interdiction. What makes it so effective is you don't know when it's coming. Now, I have children that come over here and visit. I have friends that come over here and visit, and I have to tell them, and I have to watch them and babysit them that every time you see a group up on that tee, what can happen will happen. If this guy up there has never played before, he's out here with his buddies trying to get him into the game, and they won't let him shoot par. They won't ever allow him to shoot par. There's people, I would tell you that 9 out of 10, okay, the exit poll coming out of the golf shop, if you were to ask every young golfer that's been playing here or plays with people, or say you're in a group, there's one guy that's been playing there 15 years, he's got 3 of his college buddies here. Every one of them walks out of the golf shop with the sincere belief that if a ball goes into somebody's yard and we can see it and identify it, we know it, we saw it go in. That's why they have those white stakes up on those yards. That's why they make the course so big. I mean, the ball shouldn't be up here from that tee box, but the golf course understands we've got really bad golfers up here. So those really bad golfers have to be rewarded or we have to take care of the really bad golfers. That white right there, that you're burning a cross in my yard today. This is cross burning. This is a pissing match. All right, look at that. That white stake should be out where that tree is, right on the crest of the hill. I've got people that walk down my property line day in and day out. When they see a ball go, if a ball can go down 150 yards, if they hit a ball and they see it go in a yard 150 yards down, what they do is they tell their buddy, take the cart down to the green, and they walk directly up to this white stake, and then they walk along the property line trying to figure out what's in everybody's wallet up here. What's in your wallet? And they're allowed to because the golf course says we need your house and property as a landing and recovery area. We've made the golf course so small and micro. This is micro golf. Because your house and property are so close to that tee box, and because we understand that we don't want our golfers that make a bad shot to have to lose their ball. Again, lose their ball. And the golfers, I've had, 15 or 20 discussions with golfers. When I see a golfer walking down my line and looking on my patio for his ball, just sends me up the wall. And the reason that they're walking by my patio, and the golf course and the management has a complete control over this, why this human friction has to take place, is first of all, take those white stakes at both ends of my property line and move them out about 20 yards. Put them on the crest of the hill, so that when they see the ball go outside, they don't belong up here. The golf course doesn't belong up here. It's the golf course telling me we don't want you here. This is malice. We can do this. We can do this. We can get away with it. We don't have to answer to you. Your property. The only responsibility that we have to you is letting you know that we can do this. This is our responsibility. We're letting you know where the golf course is. That's the golf course. And it has to be there because we got the shittiest golf courses. We got the shittiest golfers in the valley coming to this golf course. And the reason they're coming here and starting here, this is kindergarten golf. This is creeping golf. They're not even crawling yet. This is creeping golf. This golf course is 16 years old, and until some people on the board and in the town council and the police department and everything else, this is assault. I live in an assault situation right now. Every day. And whenever I see somebody crossing my yard and I challenge them, I'm the bad guy. If they're in a foursome, I have to deal with 3 hyenas down there shooting me to bird and calling me an asshole. And the guy looking at me like I got 2 heads. It's only a golf ball. It's only a golf ball. Why are you making a big deal? I'm making a big deal because this has happened 30 times this week. Okay? I have children here. And I don't like that I could right now just take the camera, walk on the other side and point the camera at my house and show you the invasion of privacy. When they set up this course, we didn't have GoPro cameras and all this technology we have now. We couldn't take a cell phone camera, put it in our pocket, and then walk down this property line and do a recon mission of that guy's patio. That's what you're doing. It's an invasion of privacy. It's threatening my guests, the children that come to my house. Last summer, a little girl up in Utah got killed by her father. He hit a golf ball. He hit a golf ball and hit his daughter in the head and killed her. All right? So golf balls kill. So you're raining golf balls. And the thing of it is, you guys in the morning, you old guys that think I'm nothing but a problem, don't understand that on the weekends and in the afternoon, the analogy is that commercial, what's in your wallet? This is a cattle drive in the afternoon. It's a cattle drive. It's a cattle drive of not only really shitty golfers, but really ignorant golfers. And the most ignorant people are the people who are in the clubhouse pretending to be golf pros, walking around with the label and title of the golf pro, the golf manager of Sundance, and you don't understand what you're doing here. How long you been playing golf? You don't understand the malice that you're putting on to me. You don't understand how I have to service your golf course because you're using that as a missile. Here's a suggestion. Take all that and make a cascading step. Cascade a set of 3 more steps from that tee. All right? 3 more steps from that tee to the other side of this little harbor. All right? And I'll tell you a gimmick for the course to make a lot of money. Go online, put in bridges.com, bridgestogo.com or anything like that, and find a Vermont-style wooden bridge or a Japanese-style arc bridge or some little quaint bridge that you can put from that bank to that bank. Restore the drain like it's supposed to be. Make the place legal. Give us back our emergency ingress and egress. Give us back the golf cart access to the thing so the people who live here don't have to drive out there. Way past that tree. Over by that tee box is our community access onto the golf course. That's about 400 or 500 yard drive from the people who live here. That's identified on the plat map as an access easement with no qualifications. It should have an access, it should have multiple uses. It has to be a functioning drain that works. And that drain has to go into a catch basin, which is missing. All right? Take a bridge. And another thing that would help me is bring that cart path that's right here next to my property line where they can break an Olympic record like a 2-second walk and they're on my property. When you put the bridge from one side to the other side and you restore the drain, okay, just to the west of that drain have that bridge come out there and then move the sidewalk down along the property, along the golf course. Move these white stakes where it's prudent and you're not insulting me and burning the cross in my yard and proving you're the 800-pound gorilla, because that's all this is. You're telling me we can do this. That's why we're doing it. It's because we can do it. You live on a golf course. You have to deal with it. But you're professionals. You know what I'm dealing with. You know I'm dealing with morons day in and day out that don't know a friggin' thing about golf. Now, getting back to playing in the woods in the Adirondack, if you were on this hole, the cart path would be a forest. On the other side of the cart path would be a forest, and you'd have your lake. You wouldn't have the option of gripping and ripping a ball up here in my yard, because my yard would be about 50 or 60 yards feet deep into burdock bushes, burrs, ticks, poison this, poison that, so you lost your ball. And that's why the people out here that learn to play golf out here, and that's why everybody out here, there's no such thing as target golf. I'd love to take you back. If you took any of these young guys back to a course in the Adirondacks, and by the 9th hole they'd be begging balls off everybody. Where's your balls? Well, I lost it. No shit. No shit, you lost it. We were on a narrow dog leg, a forest of trees, just a tunnel of trees, and instead of backing off with a 3-wood and picking a target out there and try to hit that target and stay in play, you were going to grip and rip. Yeah, well, this is how we play in Arizona. We grip and rip everything out there. Well, good. What do you need? I need a ball. I don't have it. Not for you. I told you in the beginning when we left the tee, you can't play grip and rip here. Keep it in play. People out here learn to keep it in play. You don't have to keep it in play here. If you lose it out of play, the golf course is set up that you can walk right up onto somebody's yard, and if you see the ball on their patio, it's perfectly acceptable for you to walk in there. It's only a golf ball. It's daylight. I'm doing this in front of everybody. Honestly, they can see. I don't like it. They're not paying my taxes. They're not paying my dues. And when I get a broken window and I call up the shop, the first thing Andy tells me is, you bought a house on a golf course. This goes with, well, you have, Andy, you got control of how much risk. Now, if you were to take that tee box, Andy, today and move it up about 15 more yards and put it over by that railing, you'd give me a lot of risk insurance. Every time, the ideal place for me for this hole, and if you're trapped, well, we have to have the length for the hole for the handicap. You know, that hole's got a handicap, a history of a handicap, and we have to keep the handicap with length. Oh yeah? Move everything up 20 yards and then put a deep bunker. Make the green narrow, back to front, that you have to hit. Oh, what kind of a hole is this? A 99-yard par 3. 99-yard three that you got a tiny target. If you don't hit that target from 99 yards, you're going to take a 5 on the hole, because you're either going to be in a deep bunker or you're going to be dealing with a bad putt or something else. That's why they call pros pros. They know how to set up a course safe for people. How many times, Andy, and how many times has your staff behind that counter on a windy day taken 8 or 9 or 15 complaints for broken windows from the residents on the course, right? Year after year, every time there's a windy day, every time there's a real strong wind, I don't care what direction it is, you've got guys playing grip and rip that's never been taught or told to back off. Play for the conditions. Try to shoot par today. These guys aren't out here to shoot par. They're out here to say, from the 175-yard tee on number 6, I've been playing the hole from back there for 5 years, because it's the men's best, it's the men's black, and I only play the men's black. Out of the last 5 years, congratulations, I hit the green for the first time today. All right? Has this guy been trying to protect par on his scorecard from playing back there? No. His challenge is, if I get one good shot today, if I make one birdie or maybe one par on my card legally, that's all I care about. I had the oohs and ahs of being able to grip and rip all day. Like I said, Andy, if my lot were adjacent to a long fairway in the woods, nobody'd be up in my yard looking in my patio for a ball. They'd stop at the cart path. And that is where the white stakes would be, at the cart path. You clearly see this is out of bounds. You want to go in there, go ahead. If you want to walk in there and risk getting all chewed up and everything, snakes and everything else, go ahead. So this is where the out of bounds is. But out here in Arizona, it's a whole different game. We've got a game that we have to protect our shitty golfers. If that shitty golfer that doesn't practice, go to the range, know how to do, second, third time out there, if he toes one off the club and sends one up in my yard or my patio or breaks my window, hey, that's the rules of the game. That's the way we set it up out here. That's the way we set it up, dude. So you're setting me up for malice all day long. What you're saying is your lot and the people and the children that visit your lot are expendable. What I'm trying to get across to you, there's a saying, if you were in the Navy or anything where you're working around machinery or anything like that, there's a saying, what can happen will happen. And for you to continually, day after day, assign your grounds crew to put that tee box there is, you don't understand what can happen. If you live by that rule, what can happen will happen. You will understand that I'm threatened with assault day in and day out. I'm being assaulted day in and day out. Why am I assaulted? Why do I feel assaulted? I've been here 16 years. Like I said, if the all-seeing eye could reproduce, there'd probably be 5,000 or 6,000 balls from that tee box that have gone in this yard in the last 15 or 16 years, and probably 3,500 what we call incursions, where golfers who first of all don't belong up here anyway, the course you don't belong up here. That out-of-bounds stake doesn't belong up here. It's a pissing match. Alright? You're letting me know that we can do this, even though we know that we're threatening the people in we're threatening you with trespass, we're threatening you with homeowner damage, we're threatening you with injury to anybody who may be not keeping their eye on the course. So the kids are out here playing, doing something, and all of a sudden they take one up from the head. Now, a little girl got killed last summer by a golf ball, and you set up a situation like this. You as a pro set up this situation, and what you're saying to me is it's up to you to defend yourself from me any way you can. It's up to you to defend yourself from us. Okay? How do I defend myself? Once it leaves their airspace and it crosses my boundary line, it's my problem. You can't believe how frustrating, how comical it is. It's like talking to the Three Stooges to have somebody say, or who's on first conversation. You set up your tee box to where I'm in range on every shot from those tees. Yeah, that's right. And then I got a broken window because you're not qualifying. You let anybody, no matter what their skill, get up there and rip on it. Yeah. That's what we can do. All we're responsible for is the taking their greens fee. That's all. And anything that is a rule or a regulation or a restriction on them, we look at as only an impedance on our cash register. People come out here because they want to have complete control of the situation. They want to have their little golf cart out here in the middle of nowhere. They want to drink beer all day, smoke cigarettes all day, swear all day, play their stereo, and break windows. They can play grip and rip all day with the knowledge and permission of the golf course that even though the golf course is unrealistic to a real golf course, there shouldn't be white stakes going up to people's yards. I don't like it when there's one guy I don't even know his name, but you'll know who it is. He's got a black Mustang. He's an old guy with white hair, probably about 75 to 80. It's a black Mustang with the like 66 Mustang taillights. This guy, on several occasions, likes to drive his golf cart right down that plant line, as close to my plant lines, and he's looking in my yard the whole way. I confronted him one day. I said, "What are you doing?" "None of your business. I'm on the golf course. I got a right to be here." Now, Andy, why should I have to deal with that? Why should I have to deal with that human friction? He's up here, he's not looking on the course for his ball. He's up here riding down my 90 feet of property line, and him and his girlfriend, who's got one of the most filthy mouths, she started in with her filthy mouth. I couldn't believe it. His girlfriend or his wife, well, about 3 months later, same thing. There he is, he's up here with his cart, cruising my property line, looking on my patio again for golf balls, and I challenged him again. And then she went into another vulgar thing to say. So, if you want to come to a golf course where the women have miles of truck drivers, come to Sundance. Come to Sundance. These women golfers at Sundance, it's like World Wrestling, the World Wrestling Tour, okay? They even let you know. I'm up here playing my radio and working in the yard, and they look up here like, "What are you doing playing that radio? Don't you understand that radio bothers this one?" Hey, take your tee box to the other side of the lake. Now, how you're going to make money with that bridge? You put a little bridge in there and you make it real quaint, unique, perfect to have a wedding. Now you take the rest of the tee box that you eliminated, you make it a park and public space. You make it a park and public space with a little amphitheater of seats. So the wife and the husband and the minister can stand in the middle of the bridge and get married with the lake behind them and the sun going down. This beautiful sunset, a sunset ceremony after the golf is closed down. You say on Saturday afternoon at 6 o'clock or at 4 o'clock we quit selling rounds. There's a 6 o'clock ceremony as the sun's setting. Okay? You could have a little amphitheater right where that guy's hitting right now. You could carve out an amphitheater. You could give us back our drain and our golf cart access. And then the wife, you'd make so much money. You could have all the TV networks, the grand opening of the bridge, you could sell it as, and you could ingratiate yourself with the wisdom of saying, the reason we did that is we understood as golf professionals that we were leaning on people and people were having broken windows. And we stepped forward. We decided to step forward and correct this. We've been keeping history of the broken windows. We know, we finally admit we have a problem. And that the membership is burdened with people walking in their yards, broken windows and everything. So we stepped up to the plate, we brought in this bridge, we've created a new service for weddings on the bridge. We've got a seating area over here. Some of the changes we made is we took the cart path and moved it further away from the homes up on this line. That's another thing on number 5. I know the Army Corps of Engineers won't let you do it, but on number 5, take the cart path to the east side of the fairway on number 5. Take it to the east side of the fairway on number 5. And take all the, make number 5 a drivable par 4. Make it about a 270-yard, 5-yard par 4. Take the tee boxes, and that's your number black. That's your black. And take the tee boxes all the way up and to the left, all the way up and east. Put them right next to that drainage easement that the Army Corps of Engineers doesn't want. And then take the cart path to the left side or the east side of number 5. Because right now, these young Vikings, cowboys on a cattle drive, whatever you want to call them, come in. And when they hit a ball in somebody's yard or patio, the cart path is right there. How harmful could it be for me to step out of the cart path and walk onto his patio and get the ball? I see that the furniture is all put away, so they're snowbirds, so what the heck? Now, in the Adirondacks, he wouldn't have that luxury. He would have played stupid and hit a ball, gripped and ripped, and he lost his ball 45 or 75 feet into the woods. It's a whole different game here. Try to realize these guys can start out with 25 balls, put 12 or 13 balls in somebody's yard, and end up with 25 balls at the end of the day. Why is he still got after? Because he walked in everybody's yard. That's protocol. That's tribal knowledge. That's like we're open for business. Well, it stinks for somebody who lives here. It really does. Because at any time, what can happen will happen. And statistics proves, I don't care whatever model you put up, you have to admit that somewhere in that model, if you put that tee box back on that corner, all the way back and all the way to the left, and bring in on the weekends a bunch of people on a special that are all amateurs, high school kids, beginners, and they're being taught by beginners, and they're being taught a game that we're going to play the back tees. We don't have to worry about losing balls. How many balls in your bag? How many balls did you got? I got 8 balls done. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We can't lose a ball on Sundance, no matter where it goes. We just paid our greens fees. That means we can walk on anybody's patio. That's the mindset. That's the reality. And when I do get a broken window and I call the police, they usually say send a young policeman, and I ask him, what do you know about golf? Never played it before. Good. That's a bad place to start. Then you're not going to understand the possibilities in golf. Then you don't understand what errant shots are in golf. You don't understand what toe hits are in golf. You don't understand that I'm in line and on the hot seat. Okay? Somebody help me protect my position here. This isn't right. It isn't right. You shouldn't have the right, a golf course shouldn't have the right to do this, to put me in play every day. I'm in play every shot. Every shot. If this guy gets up, because I've got video. That's why I record this. You think I'm wasting my time? I'm recording every shitty shot. When you see a guy get up there and he dribbles 3 of them in a row and he keeps putting the ball down in the same place, obviously he doesn't belong there. He doesn't know how to hit the sweet spot on the club. He's got a million things going through his mind, right? Move him up to executive tees. Once you learn how to part a hole from the executive, we'll let you move back. You'd never make any money, but it would sure. You're stinking up the game of golf. That's another thing. You're stinking up the game of golf. You're stinking up the game of golf for anybody who wants to invest in a golf course property. All right? You're not being responsible stewards of this golf concession. If you were, you'd sit down on a Sunday afternoon or a Monday morning when they say, we got 30 calls over the weekend for broken windows and solar panels, that you would sit down and just start playing with like models. How could we fix that hole? And like number 5, make it a shorter hole, shorten it by 75 yards, move all the tees to the left and the golf cart to the left. Let those people on the fairway of number 5 have some peace and quiet. Let them have some peace and quiet. Let them have some privacy. That if a guy wants to go over to their yard, he has to drive over there. All right? And he has to drive over there from the cart path, and when he wants to advance, he has to drive back across the fairway to the cart path, away from the houses. And you could do the same thing on this hole. Move that sidewalk right down to the water, and add some capacity to this lake. All you have to do is build like a 2 or 3 foot wall, stub wall, around this lake, and you could add multiple acre feet of water storage in it that you're going to need. Not only that, but it would give you a foundation to build a cart path on, and you could level out the fairway. On number 6, you could level that fairway out. But thanks for listening. But this isn't right. It's not fair. I'm servicing the golf course. I service the golf course with my windows, the threat on my children, the threat on me, because at any time, now, a driving range, they have a driving range over in Goodyear, Avondale, and they got houses next to the driving range. They got nets up. They got nets up. Why? Because code makes them. Code realizes you're running a driving range out there. You're running a driving range where you're letting people hit little round projectiles that go 100 and some miles an hour sometimes, and they have a knockdown factor. Knockdown is the speed times the weight of whatever projectile. So if you have a golf ball that's a hard, dense golf ball, and you accelerate it and get the velocity of it at 90 miles an hour, whatever it hits, the knockdown power is the multiple or the algorithm of weight times speed. So I've got children up here, and you've got a situation up here where You're going, yeah, it's a 50 to 1 shot, it's a 100 to 1 shot. It's still possible. What can happen will happen. What can happen will happen. You get Jethro there this afternoon. He's got muscles coming out of his head. He's squeezing a club. He's never played before. He's trying to impress his friends, all right, in the group. And they're saying, yeah, you're going to play back here with us. Play back here with us. He wouldn't be able to shoot par if you put the ball next to the green. You got him playing back there so you can watch and have fun. And he crushes one right off the toe, like every beginner does. He looked up. Just before he hit the ball, he looked up. It came off the toe. Well, if that happens right now, and there's a child here playing, sitting in a chair, or a human being, or anything like that, how much reaction time do they have? How much knockdown power do you think Jethro can put in that ball? And he doesn't loft one up in the air. He hits what we call a worm burner. A worm burner, just a blue darter, traveling about 1 foot off the ground the whole way, right? And it hits a kid. Now, you as a professional golf professional, concessionaire, snake charmer, whatever you want to call yourselves, have a responsibility to the community. It happens over there on the 7th tee. If I had a camera, that's another place. If I had a camera or the all-seeing eye, especially the audio. The audio is what you get on the 7th tee. If you had a camera on the 7th tee, the men's gold tee on the 7th tee, where all the men, whether they've ever shot par or played around or whatever, they go, where's the men's tee? And that's the gold tee. So he heads out there. He's a 240-pound gorilla, 6'4", okay? Can lift the house. Never touched the golf course club in his life. Now, over in the 7th tee, what you have to have is audio. Because if you had a camera on the 7th tee, you would see this wild-ass swing. You'd see Gorilla Jethro make this wild, crazy. You've never seen a swing that looked like something come out of a cartoon. And 2 seconds later, you hear boom. They hit a house. Day in and day out. Day in and day out. You can almost set your watch by it. Big a wild-ass swing from the men's tee, and then boom. The sound just comes across the lake, right? But, I don't want to say I'm taking it personal. But, you have a choice. And I've tried to be as nice about educating you, sensitizing you to my wisdom and what I've seen in golf. And what I've seen in golf, this is incredible. This is incredible. That guy just hit the tree. All right? He just hit the tree. Typical swing. That swing right there was an off hit over the cart path. Okay? And I don't think it's right that you should have to tell me we need our golf course to be right up to your patio. We need your patio and your yard as out of bounds. We don't have enough room on that hole to have out of bounds on our own. We need your lot to be out of bounds. Now, if I put this on social media, I would like the people who are government, who are supposed to be protecting the field, anybody that has any board position, city council, mayor, HOA board, whatever, you have a responsibility from your title alone. You must have had to take an oath to even sit on the board. There must have been some oath thing where you take an oath that you're going to work for the people and everything like that. Well, if you've taken that oath, I'm a dues paying member. I've given you about $40,000 in dues. 8 years on 3 houses, and now for 6 or 7 years on 2 houses. But I have to live with this day in and day out. And maybe because I haven't communicated to anybody like on the board or Andy or anybody like that, but That's what I'm trying to do, is sensitize you. I feel you have a responsibility to protect the field of neighbors who live up here. I'll tell you right now, I don't invite people here to play golf. When I first moved here, I was tickled to be here. I had more people wanting to come out here and play golf. They'd call me up, can we come out and visit? Sure, come on, we got a great course here to play. Not anymore. I don't play it, and I don't encourage other people to play it. So that's just me. But that's one person. I'll give you an example of the people I had coming here. Mr. Gary Ludholtz and Wendy Ludholtz, that's one person I brought here. Try to figure out how much money the Ludholtzes, that tidal wave of money that the Ludholtzes dragged from Wisconsin out here. Okay? That's the type of people that I know who play golf. And he's the last one I'll ever invite. Be the last one. Okay? That kind of money is what I'm familiar with. Why would I bring anybody here when the golf course makes me pay this bill? I got a broken window on my front yard. It came from the 5th tee box on a windy day one morning in the winter. It was an east wind blowing left to right at number 5, and like I said, I just described, Jethro got up there and hit about a 275-yard drive into the wind that drifted right over on the 233rd and took out a $700, $800 picture window. Okay? When I called Andy about it, Andy said, you bought a house on a golf course. We can't start buying windows, but you leave that tee box there every day. If I put a camera up there, or there's another place, if the all-seeing eye was on that corner of 233rd when you used to sell 250 rounds a day, like 8-9 years ago during the collapse, when we had all the Canadians and East people from the Midwest in here bottom fishing, okay, looking the real carpetbaggers. I came in and paid for full price. That wave of carpetbaggers that came in here after the collapse, there's your carpetbaggers, not me. I've been paying full price up front since I got here. I gave you a full price for the lot, and I paid all my dues, honestly. You can't say that, and to have my neighbor 40 feet away, Mr. Al Campbell, tell the police that I am more or less the epitome of instability. That he even mentioned weapons, that I might come up with weapons and take them on. My only weapon was the camera. That's the only weapon I needed. His whole problem, his whole statement to the police, if he would have been honest to the police, is he would have told the police, do something about the camera. He's recording me every morning. Every morning I go down to the lake. I've been doing it for 4 years. It's my hobby. Well, it ain't a hobby, it's obsessive compulsive. You're in your late 60s, early 70s, and every morning while you're here during the season, every morning you get up before dawn and take every golf ball out of that lake and bring it up to your lot. You're not telling me that's an obsession? Why? He's a turd in a punch bowl. I couldn't believe it. He's been here 4 years. He's doing it. I've been here 16 years. I've never seen anybody with a business model like that, or an obsession model, a model of obsession where you have to have. And when he told the policeman, he says, I go out every morning before dawn. I make sure I'm done before the first golfer hits the tee. And then his wife chimed in. They said, well, do you play golf? Oh, no, we don't play golf here. I got all the video, okay? I know for a lot of people I went way off track. I may edit out, I may not. But I've had 16 years of blood, sweat, and tears here. Altercations with young golfers. Golfers threatening me. Threaten to cross my yard and kick my ass. Things like that. I got pushed by a golfer. who stepped across my yard and assaulted me, and he did exactly what I told you. He hit a ball way down, about 120 yards down, and when he left the tee, he came right up to my stake here and walked down my property line. He didn't know I had a camera. I was standing down at the other end with a camera doing what I'm doing today, recording the folly. This is carnage. This is golf carnage. It's folly. It's incoming. I have to live with the idea that you're going to have interdiction and wrath. Sometime today, you're either going to get a broken window, a solar panel, or somebody's going to be crossing and walking onto your patio. Get used to it. This is like Rick Mulvaney here for the White House. Hey, we do this all the time. Get used to it. Deal with it. That's the answer I'm getting from the golf course. Deal with it. Where all they have to do is be adult, show some creativity, move that tee box to the other place, show some decorum, give this place some class, make everybody that comes to Sundance know that you've got a lake shot. If you can't hit it over water, don't play Sundance, because we have a dedicated over water. It's our signature hole. What you're doing now is you're cheapening this signature hole. You got a signature hole layout that's 90% bailout to the right. That's why everybody wants that tee box out. They can't make it over the water, and they're too proud to move up. And when you see an old guy back there with a wood in his hand trying to hit it 130 yards, 125 yards, and he's got a wood, a fairway wood, then the hole isn't set up for him. All right. We'll leave the camera right there. I'll edit this tonight. But as you watch this, just try to imagine a group of young kids with a bag full of balls. They don't care about par. I'm going to keep hitting balls until I get one over the lake. I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen. They walk up there and they just keep hitting balls. Oh, nobody's behind us. Nobody's pushing us. I haven't made a solid contact since I've been here. This is the 6th ball I've sprayed. Haven't even gone near the green. I put 4 or 5 up there on that hill, but I'm safe up there because that's all golf course up there. That's all golf course up there. It's golf course right up to that guy's lot, right? You're bullies. You're golf bullies. You're golf morons. You have no sense of decorum, no sense of goodwill. You're morons. I saw it one of the first days I got here. Hey, another thing I want to talk about is when I first got here, I bought the prairie dog thing. I went in one day. This was in like 2000, what was it, 2005? May of 2005, I went in and bought the prairie dog. And that prairie dog was during the week in the afternoon, all the golf I could play and all the balls I could hit on the thing. Well, since I was an airline worker, I couldn't get weekends off, so weekend play was out of the question. So I took that, and afternoon, I like a course when it's dry. I like playing a course when it's dry. The last thing I want to do is play in a wet course that's been soaked all night with water. Okay? When it's dry, it's hot, it's fast, it runs quicker. So I bought that. And what I'm trying to get across in this little spiel is there used to be a dress code. In 2005, when they first opened this up, there was a dress code. So the next day on the way to work, I worked for America West at the time, which later became U.S. Airways, and which now is American, out of Sky Harbor. Well, I was working at Sky Harbor. I worked there 7 years. So on the way to Sky Harbor for the afternoon shift, I went into the office and there was this gentleman named John behind the counter. So I flashed him my membership card, and the uniform of the day in the summer, or in May, at Sky Harbor for America West was a t-shirt and shorts. So I walked into Pro Shop with my t-shirt and shorts. Everything says America. It's my uniform. I give him my card, and he goes, "You can't go on the driving range." What do you mean? Well, we can't let you on the driving range with a collarless shirt. You got a t-shirt on. It's the driving range. Yeah, I know. You can't go on it. The day after, I gave him about $800. Right? I should have sold the houses right then. I should have called the realtor and sold the houses right then. Another thing that made this such an odd place is right about that time, one day when I was down on the driving range, when I remembered to wear a collared shirt, have to wear a different shirt on the way to work in the morning to hit golf balls. So I had a different shirt when I was on the range, and it was a lonely morning. And somebody had bought a bucket of balls, and they only hit about half of them. So there was about 40 balls laying there on the range. Out in the middle of nowhere, this golf course out in the middle of nowhere. Out in Buckeye, right? Bucolic country course. Well, about 5 minutes after the guy left those 30 balls where he was hitting, this white-haired tall gentleman that I heard was an airline pilot for Republic, this guy named Martin, ran from the clubhouse down to that spot with a bucket, picked up all those golf balls, ran back to the clubhouse and threw them in the hopper. I was in complete disbelief of what I was seeing. I'm a driving range guy. The only way I can ever play bogey golf or a decent shoot 90. To me, if I shoot a legal 90 on a course like this from the men's tee, I feel like I won the Masters. Legally, honestly, a 90. That's bogey golf on every hole. That ain't bad. That means that you made it around the course, 1 over par on every hole. That means you weren't hitting 4 and 5 balls off the tee. What do you think that these guys, when they get back to the cart after hitting 5 balls from there, what do you think they put on the scorecard after they finally put it in the hole on 6 shots? They give themselves a 5 on the card. I shot a 5 over there. You shot a 5 there. You hit 6 balls from the tee. And the last one you played. Yeah, well, that's what the golf is sunk to. Well, with the collarless shit now, every day I see people going through with blue jean. Oh, that was another thing. You couldn't get on with denim. No denim, no collarless shirt. Another thing I witnessed, so I should have called the realtor right then and said, this ain't my kind of golf course. I've probably been on 250 driving range in my life, and I never ever saw management come down after they'd sold golf balls, unless the place was closing down for the night, come out and recover the balls and put them in. They were sold. Somebody bought them and they're leaving them for somebody else. Leave them alone. All right? I should have left. Now I'm going to tell you the third little incident when I was on the driving range 2005. We had a slight Asian man, looked Asian, very slight, small in stature, doesn't weigh much, but he's got a good swing, he's a good golfer, he's still part of the men's club here. Well, I witnessed the conversation about 3 stalls down there, about 3 hitting areas down on the driving range. I saw a man confront this Asian man, and they had quite a heated conversation over scoring and handicap for the men's club. From what I could gather from the conversation, the slight man who was being confronted had shot a real super round that day. Everybody had witnessed the round that he shot, because he's a good golfer, no doubt. He keeps it in play. He doesn't overswing. He's a target golfer. But he shot a hell of a round, but he didn't record it for his handicap because it would have lowered his handicap. Well, that's what the argument was all about. But I watched these 2 grown men in their 60s for about 10 minutes in a very heated conversation. He was more or less being accused of being a sandbagger, and he said, hey, I can record whatever score I want to record. And the guy said, you're... And I'd never seen that on a golf course before. All right? So I should have called the realtor then and just put the houses on the market then and said, this ain't my kind of place. This isn't the kind of golf that I'm used to or being around. Okay? And then after living here, I find out that most of the investors and most of the people that come here are Midwest. They're all from the Midwest. They don't mix well. They're not used to diversity. There isn't a lot of diversity in the farm belt of the Midwest. All right? It's all one thought. You're all marching to the same tune. But to see somebody from the Midwest get up there and put one in my yard and walk up through my yard like he owns it, or a Canadian walking onto my patio like where on a real golf course managed by real golf course management, he wouldn't have this opportunity. Like I said, those white stakes should be down by the cart path. If you can't keep it on the green from there, you have anything north of the cart path is out of bounds. Why do you have to have all this up here? Oh, we have to have it because we got shitty golfers. And we don't want to penalize shitty golfers. We want to make that ball available to them, even though they hit the shittiest shot in the world and maybe threaten your windows and a child because that's the skill level they have. We want to make sure that they can get that ball. We want to make sure they have access and can walk along and see if it's on your patio or not. This is overbearing. It's sticking your chest out in my face. Like I said, burning a cross in my yard. You're making a statement. We can do this. That's why we're doing it. We can do it. Right? We know. We understand everything you say. But we really get a kick out of knowing that we can do this to you. Every day. And you can't do anything about it. There's no defense. The only defense I have is my mouth and this camera.